Aw, friends. Are we feeling our feelings? We're feeling some feelings. Yeah, just a little bit. Drummer, that's so sweet. Well, like I say, it's not really science. It's not really science. And I mean, there's a million things when you learn a scientific fact and then it can be disputed by scientists later on. But it brought me so much peace, like as a concept, that I didn't really need it to be 100% true or accurate. And there might be some cells that are a little bit longer than 7 years, but just that idea brought me so much comfort that I wanted to turn it into a song. It's science-ish. Yeah, exactly. But I like this song just kind of removing the stigma around going and talking to people. It's so important that you go and do that, and there's nothing wrong with you for going and talking. There's nothing wrong with you for reaching out and going and seeing a therapist, going and seeing a counselor. And I went through 2 years of trauma counseling, and it was really the only reason why I was able to work past a whole lot of stuff. And I'm still not 100% worked through it, right? There's some things that just stay with you. But what meant so much to me in that experience was this idea that every 7 years, you have new cells. They've all regenerated. So it's not only this idea that 7 years from now, this terrible thing I'm going through right now is a little bit fuzzy. I don't remember the details of what it was I went through 7 years ago, right? It's harder to remember. But for my specific kind of trauma, what was more impactful was this idea that not only can I mentally start forgetting some of that trauma, but physically I have brand new cells, so that thing didn't happen to this version of my meat suit. you know, Jenny, you're amazing. Welcome in. Thank you for the bits. Creative Christy too. So good to have you back. Zab, you're so sweet. Thank you. And thank you for the lurk. Thank you for the bits. You're so sweet. But Dino Science supports all the statements in the following song. Thank you, Zealous. Thank you, Zealous. But just that idea that every cell in your body can regenerate in 7 years. And so that bad thing that happened to you, it didn't happen to the person you are now. So 7 years ago, that was a different person that experienced that level of trauma. So important to me. So this song was written around that concept. And I'm really happy that it's been able to bring some peace to some of your lives too. Just this idea of whenever I'm going through something really terrible right now too, something super anxiety reducing, I'm having panic attacks around it, trying to put that in the big picture of, will I remember this 7 years ago? Will this feel like such a life-ending moment 7 years from now? Or can I push past this and be okay? And you can. You can. It doesn't matter what chaos life has thrown at you. You're gonna be okay. And I like to share that story too, because going and talking and seeking counseling, there's nothing wrong with you. And I've spoken to so many of my students over the years too that felt like they couldn't go and do that because that would be admitting there was something wrong with them, and they didn't want anybody to think there was something wrong with them. Like, no, we all need that kind of support many times throughout our lives to deal with the fact that we are in meat suits on a rock flying through space around a ball of fire. Yeah. What even is this? What is happening right now? It's a lot. That's a lot. Duncan, I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you. Yeah. It's a good day, Clev, and I've had many of those days, friend. I have found myself having the things I've also experienced in my life. I know. Sarah, hey, you're here. This rock is spaceship. Hi, Hisk, welcome in. Kyle, so happy to see you. So happy to see you. So if you're feeling like you need support, it's okay. Reach out. There's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. And sometimes I'll have people swing by the stream too, and lots of my friends have written to me about stream burnout and things like that, and they seem like, oh, well, you always seem okay, and so I just think that there's something wrong with me. I'm like, no, we all feel those feelings. You are never alone in anything that you've ever felt or experienced. There's always somebody on this crazy space rock who's gone through the same thing. Yeah. Aw, sending love to you, Breezer. Yeah. It is at least a 99% science fact. I like it, Rain. I like it. As long as it's 99%, right? Well, that's just it. I mean, there's some, like, cells that might last a little bit longer than 7 years if we want to get into the thick of it, but that just brought me so much peace, that idea. So I wanted to share that piece with some friends, too. Zelda Muse, so good to see you. And Pio's really testing the waters on the pineapple thing, right? You can spell it with 2 N's, apparently. It's fine. It's fine that way. Todd, thank you for 3 lovely gifts. Thank you. Here you go. Here you go, Franz. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear, Clev. And for me, the reason why it was so powerful, because it was run by other survivors of what I had gone through. So for me, that shared experience was really important. So I don't think you'd necessarily get that from every place that you've ever gone to. But if you ever feel like you need that support, maybe it's just what I've also experienced throughout the years. Wrong doctors over and over and over. And at points where there's actually physically something wrong with me, but a doctor just saying I'm imagining it. So we can find kind of terrible people who don't do a good job in any profession. And maybe that's what you experience too. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Zealous. I agree. Yeah. So, Todd, thank you for your beautiful dino babies. Oh, Legacer, hi. Welcome. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go, Todd. There's your babies. They're safe in the bowl. I will not drop them. I might. I just might. Yeah. David, welcome, man. Good to have you. Oh, and thanks, friends. I'm glad we're sharing resources right now, too. Drummer, good. I'm very glad. And I know that self-advocacy is really hard. And it's hard when you've got a medical professional telling you that everything's fine as well. Yeah, I know. Jachi, you're so sweet. I'm so happy to see you. Happy Tuesday Wednesday. This kind of turned into tea time. Sorry, France. But I'm happy. It seems like we had to have this talk. Yeah. Yeah, and friends, oh, I know it's painful too when you lose that person that's so important to you. And my counselor, it was a lot for her to deal with, having to, being somebody who survived that same thing, walk other people through it. It's exhausting, and it's a lot of stress and a lot of kind of emotional care and energy that she was constantly giving out. So she also had to stop. So I know that's a hard thing too to go through when you lose that person, when you found them. Yeah. And it's okay to feel your feelings. And for me, I try to channel that into music, try to channel that into art. Making something is so important, like that act of creating something that's yours and having that small little bit of control over something. Because I find a lot of our anxiety and pain kind of comes from being completely out of control. We were brought into this world and we still have no idea what's going on as much as when we were kids. I thought like you turned 18 and you're like, oh, I turn 18 and everything makes sense, right? All these adults walking around. They know what's going on, right? This makes sense when you turn 18th birthday. Oh wow, it all clicks. Then it doesn't. I still have no idea what's going on. Be careful with the starship rock. It's complicated and fragile. If only, right? You turned 18, you're like, oh, I understand everything now. It's fine. Eagle Searcher, you're so kind. Thank you for those bits. Feeling trapped. Yeah. And I felt that way many times in my life as well. if I'm dealing with something I can't control, my anxiety spikes. Oh, and I know it's so hard to sort through that. And so I find kind of like retreating back into something that's very familiar for me. So rewatching our favorite TV shows and movies. And I was talking with my students today about that. And we were having a similar conversation. So that's probably why this has gone this way. Just talking about how we go to those spaces when we're feeling anxious and trying to have things in your life that you're feeling familiar with to calm that anxiety, having things to help you cope with that. But for me, just having that tiny little thing that I control, like I can write this song. I can control that. That's a thing. I can go and I can build a loop, and I can control that unless my friends use all of their channel points. Then I have no control over what's happening. But just the act of creating, and not necessarily like when I'm making visual art, it's not for the purposes of being able to eat, because that's a lot of pressure too. And I know we have so many creatives hanging out with us today too, and that's so much pressure. So go make something. Yeah. Absolutely, Sarah. And I'm so pleased that we met and that you've been rocking all the things you've been doing. Oh, 100%. I've read a few articles just about how people with high anxiety tend to rewatch the same movies or TV shows that bring them peace. And for me, it's always TV shows because I get really attached to characters and I don't want to let them go in an hour and a half. So I get really attached to a TV show and I'll watch that like 8 times. Oh, it's got 12 seasons. Let's watch it 8 times. Just be in the background of the house, so there's voices in the house, and I'm feeling a little bit cozier. Yeah, that explains a lot for sure. And I think a lot of people are really high functioning anxiety, and it's not even a thing that would be diagnosed by a doctor. But that's one coping mechanism, at least, is surrounding yourself with things that are cozy and familiar when you're feeling really high anxiety. And sometimes it's a clear trigger in your life that's causing that, right? Sometimes it's just coming out of nowhere. It's hormonal, it's endorphin related, it's you ate too much cheese. It might be one of those things. Oh, I ate too much cheese and now I'm anxious and I need to watch Schitt's Creek. Everybody leave me alone. I don't know, it might just be a me thing, but yeah. Big Burbs, welcome in. Linnea Wallenhart's in the house too. Hi, it's been a while. Welcome in. One of those things is just gas. Okay, good. Yeah, anxiety without a clear cause is always so annoying. So if you have that too, it's okay. You're not alone. I go through all those things as well. And PTSD from so many things. A lot of people also feel like PTSD is specific to veterans. It's like there's a whole slew of things you can experience in your life where PTSD will come into play. So that's a big thing behind this song too. So I'm really happy that somehow this song happened, and I'm really happy that it can mean something to you the way that it does to me, friends. Sending you all so much love, always. I'm really happy that we can pass the time together. Thanks for giving me the space to be me. My gosh. Sending you all of the loves. Whatever you're going through right now. You got this. You do. I promise. I promise. 7 years ago, I was a complete and utter mess. And I didn't feel like there was any hope or any future. And I had no idea that the level of happiness that I feel right now was even possible. Yeah, life-changing months, Justice. And when I say that each and every one of you has helped completely change my life, it's not just because I get to hang out with you and play music, and because you've made it possible for me to work on these crazy projects that I never thought possible. Like, you changed how I feel about myself. You've changed how I spend my time, and I feel like I can spend my time a lot more mindfully, and I can be proud of how I'm spending my time. Then you brought so much love into my life. So thank you. When I say 7 years ago, I did not know this was possible, 100%. So anything you're going through right now, 7 years from now, it'll be okay. That might feel like a long time too, but it gets easier with each day. Yeah. Clev, but it's so much more. It's so much more than just the attention and things around music, just around me as a person, right? I think a lot of us are really hard on ourselves, and I've always been extraordinarily hard on myself. And that gets to a point where you start hating yourself, right? So beyond our time here on stream, when we have these crazy streams and we get to meet hundreds of new people and all of this craziness is happening, like these moments on Discord where we get to joke about grandma on a Friday night, how I get to just be myself and I don't hate myself the way that I used to. That's a crazy feeling. And like I've said, there's so many things that I can't quantify, right? Yeah. Anonymous, thank you for that gift. Asper Guy, welcome in. Thank you for the follows. So good. So good. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the dino straight to the portal. Oh. Me too, Adam. Me too. And Riley, if there's one thing that I've learned as I've been getting older, it's that if that's the case, it's just put yourself in a new situation. It's okay. And I think you've been finding new people, and I've been finding new people these last couple of years too, which has been absolutely life-changing. So it's not even around music. I know one day all of this will disappear, right? I always brace myself for that, is one day I'll log on and everybody's gonna find the new exciting thing. And I tell myself when good things happen in life too, that it's okay when those good things disappear, because I got to experience them, right? So I try to keep that stuff in mind, but I will never be able to quantify and put into words how life-changing knowing each and every one of you has been for me, just as a person, not as Danny the musician or Danny the weirdo in the dino costume dancing in her basement. Just being able to look at myself in the mirror and like myself. Like, that's not something you can look at numbers. Not something you can look at a song that you wrote and say, hey, that's a good song. So I'm really grateful to each and every one of you. When I say for being my friends, I really mean that. And in these past couple of years, what we've done has really become my entire life. And I'm very grateful. Yeah. Mifla, hey, welcome in. Welcome in. Oh, Couch Potato, we have another potato in the community. Hello. It's very nice to have you here. Zealous. We're better for it too, because you got the floor nachos, you know? Yeah. Stormin, that's what I felt for sure. It's just like, how you can find so many lovely people in a time when I feel like there's more conflict than ever. And there's just all of these lovely people trying to help one another. And that's what keeps me coming back, for sure. Our potato bag groweth. Kyle, you're lovely, and I'm always happy to know that you're smiling. I'm sticking googly eyes to your forehead right now. And Riley, we're so happy you're sticking around and hanging out. Who's the other potato? Couch potato. Hey, welcome in. We have an uneducated potato. We have another potato. What's the other potato's name? Yeah. Lincoln, hey, welcome in. Super happy to have you here. Thanks for unlurking and saying hi in the chat. Sending you good vibes, friend. Don't worry, be happy. Nice, Breezer. Nice. Oh, Mifla, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you all cry. It's just when I'm seeing everybody sharing their stories and sharing what they're going through, and I just always want you to know that I've gone through it too. You're never alone. Because I think the worst feeling when you're going through the worst parts of your life is feeling like you're going through it alone. And when we're in a pandemic, that feeling is amplified even more, right? The isolation's been so hard on us. So just, you're not alone with whatever you're going through. Pink Flamingo, welcome in. Hey, Papa Foster. Sitting in my kitchen trying to work from home while dealing with this overwhelming sense of loneliness day in and day out. My gosh. Stop crying. Okay, I'll let you work. I'm gonna stop crying, Papa Foster. You're so kind. And thank you for spending all this time with me and for being so supportive and making it possible for me to be able to do what we've been doing.